Hey everybody, Jordan Belfort here, and welcome to Straight Line Persuasion Fast Track, the ultimate sales system for achieving massive results in sales in the shortest time possible. Now, the straight line system has been my invention here for over 25 years now, and it represents real-world business experience starting on Wall Street and then going into just about every business industry you can possibly imagine, from offline to online, from the auto industry to real estate to stocks and bonds and everything in between. And basically, the system is really incredibly powerful. And the problem I originally had is that when I invented the straight line system, I didn't put the necessary ethics behind it. And without ethics and integrity, the ability to get people to do things they shouldn't do and buy things they shouldn't buy, which the straight line system can give you, is a very, very dangerous thing. So I urge you, as you go through this training and you become even reasonably proficient at the straight line, you'll see just how powerful it truly is. And I caution you and I urge you to really stick to the straight and narrow here when it comes to ethics and integrity. And that really means, in my book, making sure that you're only getting people to do things that they should be doing and buying things that they should be buying. See, at the highest level, what sales really is helping people overcome the barriers and the obstacles that stop them from taking actions that they should be taking. It's not about just shoving things down people's throat to make a commission. Now, when I first invented the straight line system, I was only 25 years old. I was a really young guy, and I wanted to be really, really rich. And I lacked the discipline to really restrain myself, to really understand the damage that you can inflict on other people, and ultimately the damage that you do to yourself and the people around you when you don't maintain your ethics and integrity. You see, with the straight line, it's not just about that you can get people to buy things they shouldn't buy. You can also get them to buy more of what they should buy. So while it might make sense for them to buy a little bit of something, you end up wanting to shove a whole truckload down their throat just to make a commission. And again, I caution you, I urge you not to take that road. You have to take the high road here. It's got to be about centering yourself on doing the right thing, getting the client what they need, and what helps them resolve their pain. We'll get into that in this training about resolving people's pain. So then you get what you want, of course, which is your commission and long-term relationships and referrals. So now what I found with the straight line system very quickly back in 1988 is that I could take any human being, regardless of their age, their race, their creed, their color, their socioeconomic background, their educational status. I could take any person and literally in a couple of weeks, using the straight line system, turn them into a world-class closer. And in my book, what that means is being able to close anyone who's closable. Now, that doesn't mean you close everybody, because there are some people who shouldn't be closed. People who don't qualify for your product, they can't be helped by your product. So we don't want to close everybody. And also, some people just literally can't be closed. They're just, they have these limiting buying beliefs. We'll get to that later with the training, and we can overcome a lot of that, but sometimes you just can't. So I don't want to set up an unrealistic expectation here. But when I say close anyone who's closable, what I mean is that when you're done, and let's say the person doesn't buy from you, you don't walk away saying, damn, Jordan could have got the person, or my sales manager could have gotten the person. I want you to say, you know what, they didn't buy from me, but they wouldn't have bought from anybody. That's the power of the straight line system. It gets you to that point where you have such confidence that you just know before you even go into the encounter that if the person's closable, you got what it takes to close them. And again, I'm focusing on closing it because it's a very closing-centric system. It's about making the deal. And one of the great misconceptions with selling and the ability to close, it's not just about the tangible. You're selling a car or an insurance product or a piece of real estate, whatever you might be selling. It's also about your ideas, your concepts, your vision for the future. See, those things, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or just a success-oriented person who wants to really just improve their lives and live a life of power, meaning to be able to look at the world and say, okay, it's a certain way right now, and I want to make the world a better way for myself and also to empower people around me. It starts with your ability to have a vision for your future and also learn how to share or sell that vision to other people in a way that moves them to take action, to essentially roll up their sleeves and get involved in what you're doing. Because again, we're not usually one-person armies. It takes a team effort here. And I will tell you this, in my life, people always say, Jordan, you've always been able to come back from failure and this great cataclysms. And you guys, I'm sure you saw the movie, right, The Wolf of Wall Street, and you saw there really firsthand what a lack of ethics can do for you. But then you also watched how I was able to come back from all that. And at the heart of that ability to essentially come back from failure, to essentially look at your life the way it is and say, you know what, I want a better life for myself, for my family, it starts with your ability to close the deal. And that's why this is really a closing-based system. That being said, with the straight line, you'll also be able to shorten your sales cycle, qualify far more effectively, meaning learn how to weed out your prospects. You'll learn how to get into rapport like that, both on a conscious and an unconscious level, and also develop a massive stream of customer referrals and develop customers for life. That's what the straight line system is all about. So I'm really honored. I feel privileged, in fact, to be able to share the system with you today, this sort of fast track, this way to really get started with the straight line. It's an introductory course here. And of course, I have the higher level course for people who really want to take this to the next level. But this is going to give you the basics, the building blocks that you can start moving forward now and start increasing your closing rate and essentially making more money, living a more empowered life. Bottom line. So in the Straight Line Persuasion Fast Track course, what I'm going to do is introduce you to some of the most powerful parts of the straight line system. Now again, I can't teach you everything because there's a much more immersive step-by-step format, which I do in my comprehensive straight line persuasion training program. But what I can give you here is a very in-depth overview of what the system is about and give you some very powerful nuggets that you can use to immediately start closing more sales. So here's how it's going to work. Every week, for the next 4 weeks, you're going to get an email from me with another module. And each module will have first a short introductory video from me, like the one you're watching right now. Then you'll get a chapter or two, depending on how long the chapter is, of my Straight Line Persuasion ebook, which, by the way, no one has seen yet. It's brand new. I'm actually writing it as we speak, and it's totally, totally awesome. You're going to love it. So you're going to get about 1 or 2 chapters a week, depending on the length of the chapter. And then 3, I'm going to give you a video from one of my live trainings where I'm drilling down one of the key elements from the straight line persuasion system that you just went through in the ebook. And then 4th, you're going to get a worksheet to help you out and implement and take action and really allow you to essentially apply what you've learned in your own business. Now, again, I just want you to understand the reason I'm spreading this out over 4 weeks is because there's a very powerful concept of learning called spaced repetition. What that means is I teach you something, I let you actually go out and use it for a week, and then you get to hammer it at home, then we refresh it the next week, and then bam, I give you something else to learn. This stops you from going to this place of complete overwhelm where I just unload the whole system on you at once, and you might pick up a couple of nuggets, but the greater meaning will get lost. That's why I'm going to split this up into 4 weeks so we can take advantage of the power of spaced repetition. Now, in terms of the ebook, which is really the basis for this entire course, I did something really, really cool here, and I actually created a fictitious narrator, a guy called Lucas Stone, who's a journalist, and it's based on someone I know who I had actually come and interview me and download the straight line system in the form of an interview. The way I figured it, the best way for me to teach the straight line system in the book was to actually have myself interviewed by someone who's an expert at asking questions and have them essentially dig and dig and dig until they uncover the deepest levels of the straight line system. So I actually went out and hired some guys, a top journalist, an investigative reporter, who's an expert at asking questions in a specific way to dig to the truth. And we sat there for about 4 weeks, and I literally downloaded the straight line system in an interview format. Then I took that and I rewrote it myself, my own kind of wolf-like language pattern. So it's funny, it's exciting, it's cool, but most of all, it is incredibly empowering. When you read this book, I promise you this, because I put a ton of effort into making sure that every paragraph, every syllable, every sentence flowed just the right way. You're going to hear my voice in this ebook, and you'll get to understand the true power of how the straight line system was first developed, how I put it together piece by piece, how it evolved over time, and then how in 2008, when I actually went out and started teaching the straight line system again after the whole first cataclysm, you'll see exactly how I actually went through the system line by line, through the actual code of the straight line, and I rewrote some of the code to make sure that every last aspect of the system was scrubbed for the highest level of ethics and integrity. And what happened is, believe it or not, is the system became even more powerful. See, when I reviewed it again in 2008, I took everything I ever taught, and I really just went step by step myself, and I started getting new ideas and things with the internet and how to apply certain marketing strategies to the straight line, and realizing the power of some of the things I was doing verbally, how I use that in email How do you essentially take the straight line and write straight line emails? And there's just so much cool stuff in this book that when you use it the way I've created it here, and by the way, I didn't do it myself. I employed, really as a partner, someone named Pam Hendrickson. And that name might ring a bell to you. Pam is literally the top creator of learning products like this in the entire world. Pam was the person that was instrumental in me creating the first straight line home study course, the 10 modules. That's the long version, which, by the way, I all suggest you go through eventually when the time is right here. But Pam is someone that really knows how to take a system that someone has and make it into a learning product that flows, that empowers people. And really, when you get it, it's just intuitive. You open it up, you know exactly what to do, you know where to start, you know where to finish, and when you're done, you've essentially had the straight line system installed in you at the highest level. So I teamed up with Pam for this product again here, and what we've created here is what I believe is a jumpstart program that's going to allow you to get from whatever level you are right now. You see, it's for everybody. It's not just for newbies, beginning salespeople. It's also for top expert closers. Wherever you are, this straight line system, this jumpstart will kick you up one notch. So if you're a beginner, it's going to right away take you to a level where you're proficient and you can start closing deals. If you're already good, you know, you're closing some deals, you're going to become great. If you're great, you're going to become one of the top 5%. People that really just are closing at the highest possible level. And if you're already at that top level, what it's going to show you, this straight line, it's going to show you what you've been doing unconsciously, almost by accident, that's allowed you to achieve such success when it comes to sales, influence, and persuasion. See, when I deal with top salespeople around the world, the first thing they say is, oh my God, Jordan, when I went through the straight line system, I realized why I'm so successful. And it really allows me now to be my best every day. Because now that I know consciously versus unconsciously, even by accident, they were doing it automatically. Now they know consciously why they're so successful. They can bring their best to the game every single day. So that's the goal of the system here. Those 4 parts centered on the ebook with the videos to drive it home, introduction by me to frame everything so you know exactly what you have, you know, the key points to learn, and then you'll have your workbook, the sort of the action sheet you'll be able to, you know, write your notes down on, know what you have to implement into your own business, and bam, at the end of the day here, you're going to be set up to start really closing a massive amount of sales, to shorten your sales cycle, get tons of referrals, and then ultimately, when you're ready to go to the next level, to straight line mastery, which is the 10 module system. But this one is gonna blow you away. So essentially, sales is basically the key to the kingdom for achieving massive wealth and success. The so-called X factor, if you will, that allows you to really to go into any business or take any idea that you have, any concept, and actually monetize it, turn it into a functioning business, an entity that makes you money, and allows you essentially to have the life that you always want. See, one of the things I always see is that when people talk about they want to make money and they want to get rich, they never really take it to the next level up, which is really why do they want to get rich? Why do they want to make money? And I want you, as we go through this, to start focusing in on really your why. What truly at the highest level motivates you and makes you want to do the things that you got to do every single day. See, very often with success in business and in all aspects of life, it's about doing the things that you know you got to do, but sometimes you just don't feel like doing. And selling is one of those things where people have a negative anchor. They think selling is evil or selling is manipulative. And let me just say, bottom line here, selling is everything in life. Either you're selling or you're failing. You're selling people that your ideas make sense, that your concepts make sense. You're selling your kids to make their beds, to do their homework. You might be a teacher selling your kids on the value of an education. It could be a pastor selling his congregation on the values of whatever the religion is. It could be a politician trying to sell his constituency. It doesn't really matter. It just cuts through to every aspect of life. And again, it's really at the highest level. And I've said this, I'm going to just drive this point home. It's about helping people essentially make decisions that they should be making. And ultimately, it empowers them. It allows them to get what they want in life. And then as a result of that, it allows you to get what you want to. That's really what I call ethical persuasion. One of the great people in this world that I consider a mentor is Warren Buffett. And, when you look at Warren Buffett, you say financial guru, second rich, third richest man in the world, whichever year it happens to be. And you look at Warren Buffett, and you wouldn't really say, well, Warren Buffett is a salesman or an expert at influence. But I'll tell you this. There's a great clip that you might want to go check out on YouTube. It's Warren Buffett giving a talk with Bill Gates to about, I think, 500 or 1,000 people. I think it's at Columbia University. And he's answering all their questions for these kids that are about to go into the business world. And one of the questions he gets asked relate to, how can we improve our worth in the marketplace? And Warren Buffett said one of the most profound things I've ever heard. He said, listen, right now, he's speaking to a girl specifically who asked the question. He goes, you're an asset right now. And I'm paraphrasing here. He goes, let's say you're $1 million asset right now. You'll make X amount of money over the next couple of years, whatever, how many years it is. He goes, I'll pay you right now. I'll give you $100,000 up front for 10% of you because you're an asset. I'll buy part of this asset. However, if you want to become more valuable, go out and take a course in persuasion, influence, and communication, and that will pay you $150,000 because you'll become 50% more valuable. And then he goes on to say that he himself, when he was going out into the workforce, he knew he had this knack for picking stocks and analyzing companies, but he was aware that no matter how great he was at that, no matter how well he could manage other people's money, if he wasn't able to verbalize that, to share that vision with other people in a way that made them trust him and give him a shot and hand over some money to Warren Buffett, he would have just been a very small, no-name money manager. So what Warren Buffett went out and did is he took a course in sales and persuasion. Now, back in the day, it was Dale Carnegie in the 50s. That was the gold standard. Now, things like, how do you shake hands right and look people in the eye and say their name 8 times? It's kind of cliche. We live in a different world where people are far more on the ball. They understand the basic sales stuff. And that's really why the straight line system has become really, so much in demand around the world in all these different industries because it cuts to really the heart of both logical and emotional influence at the highest level. And it's not about cheap sales tricks or saying people's names again. It's not like that at all. It's basically core influencing strategies that from today to the end of time, they're always going to work because it just cuts to logical needs, it cuts to emotional needs, and it cuts to at the highest level about moving people from a place of relative uncertainty to a place of absolute certainty. Well, they say to themselves, you know what? I want to do this. I feel logically it makes sense. It all adds up. And I also emotionally can feel the benefits. I can actually imagine myself in the future having bought this product, taken advantage of the benefits, having my pain resolved, and feeling good. That's what the straight line system is truly all about showing you how to get some person that you're, whatever your industry is, whatever the business is taking a person who's somewhat uncertain about what you have to offer and showing in a very non-pressure way, no high pressure, just showing them really step by step why they really should be absolutely, positively certain that what you have is truly going to help them in every way possible. And that you're a person yourself worth trusting, your company behind you, again, is one of ethics and integrity. So all these things that have to be rolled up in a presentation, the straight line shows you what to do first, what to do second, step by step, what to do third, and bam. It essentially takes any person, regardless of, I don't care if you hate selling, if you hate influence, if you hate talking publicly to people, you hate telling stories, once you're done with even the jumpstart training, you're going to feel very, very differently. You're going to feel empowered. And again, what I always say is this, it's the X factor. So when you go through this training, just remember, it cuts through to all aspects of your life. It's not just about closing the deal. It's about making yourself known to humanity, about not dying with your music on your lips, as they say, where you have this great gift inside of you, this ability to lead people, to inspire people, to give people things that they need, yet it's all inside of you. You don't know how to convey those thoughts, those concepts, those ideas to people. So again, you're blocked. This training is going to unblock you. That's the goal. So again, we're going to go through this here in this 4 weeks, step by step. And each week you're going to get a different module here. And I just caution you to really always maintain your ethics and integrity and take this seriously. Give this the attention it deserves. And I promise you, you will very quickly see that you'll be able to live the life of your dreams. So real quick here, I know you're probably pretty familiar with my story like the rest of the world at this point. The Wolf of Wall Street movie, made me pretty much a household name all over the world, except for I think maybe Iran and North Korea. But other than that, everyone pretty much knows my story. But I want to just give you some of the sort of the high points and some of the low points here so you understand how the straight line system got started, where it went wrong, took a left turn, Albuquerque as the phrase goes, and how I was able to really get it back on track, and how since I started teaching this again, I've been able to take people from all over the world, from pretty much every industry you can imagine, and really, turn them into world-class closers and take people who are just, young, budding entrepreneurs as well as seasoned business owners and really help them grow their businesses dramatically using this X factor of sales, persuasion, and influence. So real quick, it started the straight line system out of necessity. They say that, necessity is the mother of invention. Well, in this case, the necessity happened because I stumbled upon an untapped niche in the stock market, which was selling $5 stocks to the richest 1% of Americans. Now, at the time, no one had ever tried it before for whatever reason, and I was doing it, and I had my junior partner, Danny, who was played by Jonah Hill in the Wolf of Wall Street movie, a wild man, right, but a great salesperson. I had trained Danny, this is pre-straight line, I had trained him how to close rich people over the phone. So basically, I could do it, and Danny could do it, but my 12 guys that were probably around Forrest Gump when it comes to IQ. They weren't that smart, these guys, right? Very young, uneducated, no members of the Lucky Sperm Club there. They were just these average kids from Long Island who never thought they'd be rich, never grew up with empowering beliefs. Their teachers told them they'd be average. Their parents told them they'd be average. So they never really had this ability, this inside, their own force to be able to harness this force of greatness. And I could not get these guys to close rich people. And I tried everything. And even back then, in 1988, I was considered to be one of the top sales trainers out there. Anywhere on Wall Street, I had a reputation for, being able to give great meetings and motivate people. But without the straight line system, I could not get these guys over the hump. And then one night, I actually stumbled upon this way of essentially explaining a sale in a linear fashion as a straight line. When I uttered those words, every sale is the same. It's a straight line. Bam. That was it. And what unfolded, what essentially came out of me over the next few months as I really just invented this system was something that became so powerful and effective that literally I took all these kids and within a matter of weeks, they became world-class closers. They all became millionaires. And the rest you've probably seen in the movie. Now, my mistake, of course, was I did not have the discipline to ground the system in ethics and integrity. In other words, I used it just simply to close anyone I could, not really caring if the product was up to snuff, if the people could benefit from the product, and that's really where I went wrong, bottom line. And because of that, I was forced to start over. I guess that's good for a lot of people who are watching this tape right now because it's really allowed me to go out there and spread this throughout the world. And over the last 5 years, I've taught this to some of the largest, most successful corporations on the planet. I've taught the system to average moms and pops, young entrepreneurs, business owners, you name it. I've taught it to people in every industry, in every country. And I get about 10 or 15 emails per day on Facebook and on my wall where people, have been through the system or have been to one of my seminars, and it's literally changed their lives. It's allowed them to become world-class closers, which is to say they're people of power. They live an empowered life. They see the world a certain way, and they have the ability to make the world the way they want it. And by having that power and grounding it with ethics and integrity, so you're helping people as well along the way, you could end up using the straight line system to live the life of your dreams. And that is truly my dream for you. So again, I'm honored, I'm privileged to be able to be teaching this fast track straight line persuasion course here. And I urge you to really go at it. These next 4 weeks, I want you to really, just attack this course and use it for everything it's worth. And then hopefully when you're done, when you want to go to that next level, there's the straight line mastery course on top of that where you can just really just forget about it. You can get to that point, you truly can close anyone who's closable. And once you get there, the sky's the limit. Let's get going.